Hello student, welcome to my class once again. So today I shall discuss the global pressure belt. Global pressure belt, and why it is important to study this global pressure belt? It is important because the movement of the air take place from a place with high pressure to low pressure area. So that is why this air movement depend on the air pressure difference. So it is essential to know this the pressure belt, okay, pressure belt in its location and the different characteristics. So one by one we will discuss, and first one we will discuss, it is equatorial low pressure belt. Equatorial low pressure belt, it is equator. North pole, south pole, okay. So here in this pressure belt, equatorial low pressure belt, here I have drawn, okay, on the board, and in globe also you see this area, okay. Here the equator passes, have you seen? Here the equator passes, these are the equatorial region, okay. So the characteristics here, it is sunlight directly falls in this region, temperature is high, pressure is low, temperature is high, pressure is low, and the area is lying between 100 degree north latitude and 100 degree south latitude. Now this region, because of high temperature, air pressure is very low. In this region, the air move upward, okay, and because of prevalence of high temperature in this region, so the air pressure throughout the year remains low in this region. Then here equator 0 degree, 10 degree, 10 degree, okay. Now next is subtropical high pressure belt. Subtropical high pressure belt, here 25 degree, 35 degree. From here air moves towards this subtropical high pressure belt, and from the north pole, okay, both side, north pole, south pole, here also this subtropical high pressure belt, 25, 35, moves towards the subtropical high pressure belt. When from both the sides moves and come to this particular area, subtropical high pressure belt, so then pressure throughout the year remain excessive, Okay, more pressure is found in this region. In this region, the two subtropical zone, okay, in the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere, it is located in lying between 250 to 350 north latitude and the south latitude. Cold air comes from north and the south pole, okay, and equatorial region also the air moves towards this subtropical high pressure belt. Both the air mix, okay, both the air meets here and creates high pressure. Because of this high pressure in the middle age also. Now two more question may come, okay, what is Horst latitude and where it is located, where it is lying. So in the during this medieval period, when the European navigator, okay, they used to sail their ship, they found it very difficult to sail the ships in this region because in absence of wind and the air movement is very low. So what they used to do is that, so they used to reduce, okay, to reduce the load from their ship, they used to throw the horses into the sea water. Clear? And that is why this also known as, this region is also known as the Horst latitude. So this region, high pressure belt, okay, this subtropical high pressure belt, because of this it is also named as the Horst latitude. Clear? Next, subpolar low pressure belt. Subpolar low pressure belt. Clear? Subpolar low pressure belt. It is roughly located 600 to 700 north and the south latitude. Now, the Earth's rotational movement of these two polar region, polar belt of the northern and the southern hemisphere is more than that of the poles. Now this subpolar belt, now Earth rotational movement is more here compared to this pole, okay, pole region, both the poles, okay, and because of this here rotational movement more, because of this it deflects the pressure and this it creates low pressure in this subpolar region. Clear? Next, it is polar high pressure belt. Polar high pressure belt, it is that here in these two poles, okay, north poles and the south poles, throughout the year temperature remains low, okay, and lack of direct sunlight in these polar regions. These two polar regions mainly covered this with snow covered area and very cold. Because of this, pressure is high, and due to extreme cold condition, the water of this region deposited in the form of ice. The air of this region does not contain water vapor. Okay, there is no chance of containing the water vapor because water is deposited in the form of ice. So then what happened? As a result of this air pressure, air pressure remains permanently high in this region. Air pressure permanently high in this region. At the very beginning what I said, where temperature will be more, air pressure will be very less. Okay, air pressure will be low. Temperature negligible, no temperature at all, then air pressure will be maximum. Clear? This is all about the pressure belt. Here you have to remember this, the equatorial low pressure belt, subtropical high pressure belt, this subtropical high pressure belt, then subpolar low pressure belt and polar high pressure belt and its characteristics. Clear? Now next it is wind. Okay, definition of wind. We cannot see here, we can that this air present in the atmosphere, when it moves, it is called wind, and when it moves we can feel it. Now it means that when air in motion, it is called wind. When air in motion, it is called wind. Clear? Now two types of movement of air is there. One is horizontal wind and another is vertical. Horizontal wind and the vertical. Horizontal movement, this air movement, it is parallel to this earth surface. Okay, this movement of this air also influence or the effects by number of causes that we will discuss in the subsequent topics. Okay, now this air, okay, this air, its movement, its origin and its measurement, and the factor which are responsible for its origin and the movement, that we will discuss now. We know that when the air temperature of an area increases, air become lighter and moves up and low pressure is formed. The equatorial low pressure belt, also we found that the air what it is present in the equatorial low pressure belt, it moves up, okay, and low pressure creates, temperature is maximum. Okay, so now this movement of the air of a place and its characteristics depends on number of factors, and all these factors we will discuss one by one, and number one, it is pressure gradient force. Pressure gradient force. Now pressure gradient force, what is pressure gradient force? Okay, so pressure gradient force, it is the rate of atmospheric pressure difference between the two places, the rate of atmospheric pressure. And how to measure the atmospheric pressure? This barometer, using barometer and the mercury. Okay, in last class we have discussed that, barometer and the mercury. So now this pressure gradient force, it is force generated, from the atmospheric pressure difference on the earth surface, basically result of the movement of air. Okay, now when this force exerted, so how we will come to know this, that so when this will be find out from the air differences, air pressure differences of two places, and what the force will generate it, that is called pressure gradient force. Now one thing you have to remember, this now this winds also moves, air moves from high pressure to low pressure. Now when the distance between from these two places, from high to low, when distance will be more, okay, when distance will be more, then this velocity of the wind will decrease. Clear? When distance will be more, velocity, the speed of the air will be, wind will be very low, means will decrease. Clear? High pressure, low pressure. From high pressure to low pressure, when it will move, when the differences of the pressure will be more, okay, the differences will be more, the force, the generation of the force will be maximum. Clear? From this place to this place, when the air will move, and moving air is called wind. Okay. Now when the pressure difference will be more, then force will be maximum. Clear? This is all about the pressure gradient force. So how it is influencing the movement from high pressure to low pressure. Clear? Now next is gravitational force. Earth surface is covered by blanket of air, and it is because of gravitational force, it is because of Earth's gravitational force which acts as a driving force in the air movement, and because of this we found, okay, in the lower stratum of the atmosphere this air. Now its pressure, okay, its pressure also maximum when we found here, okay, at the base level, okay, surface level. So with increase in the altitude, it also decreases. Now this envelope of the atmosphere which surrounds the earth surface, okay, it is also pulled, it is pulled by earth's gravitational force. Now the pressure of the air depends on earth gravitational force, pressure. Okay, the pressure what we have already discussed here also, and in the this pressure belt, okay, everything depends on the gravitational force. Now then what happens, you see, the vertical movement of the air in the atmosphere, this vertical movement of the air in the atmosphere from high pressure to low pressure continues. Okay, high pressure to low pressure continues. while continuing, what are the other vectors which also responsible, okay, for the movements, okay, for changing the movements of the this air, that also we will discuss. Now, altitude variation of the different landform also change the direction of the wind. You see how the gravitational force is working. Now, due to the gravitational force, the movement of air from one place to another becomes curved instead of straight line. Okay. It is also that sometimes it curves because of gravitational force, and other causes that what? Because of the presence of different landforms. Different landforms, say here the mountainous region, okay, in the valley region, okay, the plain region, when the air will move, it will move very this horizontally, okay, horizontally, parallelly it will move. When it will go to this mountainous region, it will take curve, okay. Now, subsequent topic when we will discuss this monsoon, okay. So how monsoon comes, okay, how rainfall take place in the northeastern region, and what are the factors which helps, okay, the natural phenomena, okay, so which helps in helps to take rain, okay, which helps to take place of rain in northeastern region, that we will also discuss. Now, this is all about the gravitational force, okay. We know that gravitational force which is pulling the air, gravitational force which is pulling the air, which is pulling the air, the pressure and its force decreases with increase in the altitude. Clear? When altitude will increase, the height will increase, its attraction power will also decrease. Now, this level, okay, here the earth gravitational force, it attracts. Clear? This is all about the gravitational force. Next, centrifugal force. In science also, you all got the topic that earth, okay, earth rotates on its own axis. You see, axis rotate on its own axis. So, when it rotates, okay, when it rotates, an outward force generates, and this force is called centrifugal force or the Collierius force. Why Collierius force? Because that force, the direction of this wind, first it was discovered by a French mathematician, okay, Gaspard de Collierius in 1844, and from his name only, the name of this force has been named as this Collierius force. Now, this centrifugal force or the Collierius force that generate due to the earth rotation deflect wind towards right in the clockwise direction in the northern hemisphere. In the northern hemisphere means this area, okay, towards right in the clockwise direction in the northern hemisphere and towards the left in the anti-clockwise direction in the this portion southern hemisphere. Clear? This phenomenon is known as Ferrel law. Clear? This phenomenon is known as Ferrel law. So what is Ferrel law? Because of this earth rotation, force also generated which deflect the wind towards right in clockwise direction in the northern and left in anti-clockwise direction in the southern hemisphere. Such movement it is called Ferrel law. So this is centrifugal force. The amount of Collierius force is not same everywhere, okay, or at every places on the earth surface. The amount of force is 0. Where amount of force will be 0? On the equator, and it gradually increase towards the pole, and at the pole it become highest. So that is why it is also that high pressure polar high pressure belt that we have already discussed. Next, it is frictional force. The influence of frictional force in the movement of air is also highly significant. This force acts negatively in determining the wind velocity. Friction, okay. Now amount of friction depends, okay, frictional force depends especially on the nature of the surface. This is plain area, say this is plain area, the friction the air when it will come from this side, it will go horizontally, okay. After going there, okay, after going there, here it is mountainous region, okay, it will take turn like this, okay. When we will discuss monsoon, we will get in details. Now frictional force will be more if earth surface is characterized by ragged, okay, raggedness. Now these are raggedness, okay. In Hindi it is called ubad khabad, okay, not plain areas. Here the frictional force will be maximum. Here the frictional force will be very less because this is the plain area. This is all about the frictional force. It is very as easy as to understand. Now naming and measurement of wind. Next topic, it is naming and measurement of wind. What is wind? Air in motion called wind. air moves over the ocean contain more water vapor. Okay, air moves over the ocean or the water bodies contain water vapor. Air moves in the dry region does not contain water vapor. Now, on the earth surface, direction from which the wind comes, the wind blowing over the tropical desert generally remain dry and hot, and direction of such wind, it is called the windward. Okay, wind, its name and number and the nature. Mainly here we will focus the indicator, or say the velocity of the wind in knot, and the number what given by Beaufort, and he also has given one scale, and on the basis of that and the impact of the wind also highlighted, okay, by him, that we will see. Now, direction of the wind can be measured very easily with the help of instrument called the wind vane. Velocity of the wind is measured with the help of instrument called anemometer. Okay, velocity of the speed of the wind can be measured with the help of anemometer, and with the help of instrument called wind vane, the direction of the wind can be measured. Because of this, with the help of this instrument, the meteorology department easily forecast the news that wind will come from this direction, that direction, okay, like this. Now, what the British scientist Sir Francis Beaufort, he developed 0 to 12 number scale of wind velocity in 1805. He developed that scale, and this scale is known as Beaufort scale. Important point to remember and to know here, it is that the velocity of the wind is expressed in knot. Okay. Now, the wind velocity of 1 knot means 1 nautical per mile. Okay, per mile per hour. 1 nautical mile per hour. 1 nautical mile per hour. Clear? 1 knot means 1 nautical mile per hour. Okay, so what is it? Okay, it is 1.854 kilometer per hour. 1.854 kilometer per hour. So 1 knot means 1 nautical mile per hour, which means 1.854 kilometer per hour. It is the velocity of the wind. Now, according to his scale, okay, Beaufort scale, 0, the velocity of the wind will be in knot, it is less than 1, the nature of the wind will be calm, and its impact will be smoke rise vertically. Beaufort scale number 1, velocity of the wind will be 1 to 3 in knot. Okay, 1 to 3 in knot means the speed will be 1.854 to 3 knot. Okay, 3 knot means here 1.854 into 3. Okay. Nature of the wind will be light here, direction of the shown by the smoke drift but not by wind vane. Like this number goes on and on and on, and the last one is 12. Okay, number 12, and nature of the wind will be this in knot, the velocity of the wind will be more than 64 and nature will be hurricane. Okay, and impact will be violent storm, huge destruction of property, loss of life, mostly occurred in the tropical region. Clear? Here Beaufort scale you have to remember. Number 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Up to 12 numbers are there. Nature and the wind velocity. In wind velocity in knot, it is there. So 1 knot is equal to 1 nautical mile per hour, and 1 nautical per hour is equal to 1.854 kilometer per hour. Clear? So here 64 knot. 64 knot means the Beaufort scale number 12, it is 64. Okay, here it is 64, it is there, the velocity of the wind. So total velocity, what we understood easily, that 1 knot, that 1.854 kilometer per hour. So this will be into 64. So this will be the velocity of the wind. When the wind with this velocity will come, so the impact, okay, impact will be huge destruction of property and loss of lives, mostly occurred in the tropical region. Okay, tropical region. So in his scale, Beaufort scale, Francis Beaufort, his scale, according to his scale, number 11, 56 to 63 knot. Nature will be storm, impact will be very rarely experience extensive damage. Very rarely experience extensive damage. Means hardly notice any extensive damage. Extensive damage takes place, according to his scale, it is in number 12, and it is 64 knot. Okay, 64 knot is equal to 64 into 1.854 kilometer per hour. With this speed the wind will go, means the velocity of the wind will be there. Now this is all about the Beaufort scale. You enjoyed this class, and the last class what I have taken, there also if any problem is there, again I am telling you, right, this class also you enjoy it, and repeatedly you enjoy the class, read your textbook, and if any doubt arises, you write in the comment section, I shall reply you. Thanks to all.